next we have a session which is titled Be a Lifelong Learner. And to present it, we have with us Mr. Shyam S. He is an alumnus of BITS Pilani. He is a dynamic industry professional with over 30 years of experience in various companies like SAIL and JSW in India and Sahara Petrochemicals Jubail KSA in the Middle East. He has technical and managerial experience in the fields of steel, power, air separation, oil and gas, petrochemicals. He wanted to retire at 50, and circumstances helped him achieve that. Today, Shyam is living a dream as an entrepreneur, wanting to create a positive difference in the way business is done. A motivated individual with a passion for excellence. He's also a professional motivational speaker and a member of Toastmasters, a thorough team man and a mentor to many. Here we have with us Mr. Shyam, and he's going to be presenting a small workshop on Be a Lifelong Learner. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vijita. Many thanks. Truly appreciate that elevating introduction. I'm audible, right? So benevolent of you. I have a confession to make though. Most of my achievements mentioned here happened by chance. Only becoming an entrepreneur happened by choice. Respected dignitaries, our panel of speakers today, Madam Pooja Talsera, drone boy Harshvardhan Singh Zala, Professor Samuel Johnson, members of the Rotaract Club from Bangalore, our respected Guru, Dr. George, co-founders of Mind Academy, Mr. Murli Krishnan, Mr. Bala Nagarajan, friends from the Toastmasters fraternity, industry professionals, teachers, well-wishers, parents, and my dear students. Good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the Mind Academy on their second anniversary. It gives me immense pleasure to see Mind Academy blossom into an organization enabling holistic growth of school children, thereby making them responsible citizens of the world. Keep inspiring my dear friends Murli and Bala in this noble endeavor of yours. Way to go, indeed. In these depressing times, with the global COVID-19 pandemic raging across India and certain parts of the world, this anniversary celebration helps lifting our moods and offers hope for better times to come. It's an honor for me to be here with all of you today. You are the elite, the very best people who have taken time out, not only to celebrate, but also to learn. We have had the pleasure to listen and learn from two amazing speakers who have achieved so much in life already with prized contributions in their respective fields. You are really going to enjoy the time we spent together this evening. I'm going to share with you some of my ideas that will open up your minds towards lifelong learning. But going by that rousing introduction of me by Vijita ma'am, all of you may think I know everything. No, not at all. But my dear students, at your age, I was scraping for information, devouring books, and still barely managing to gain knowledge. It got easier when I learned to make efficient use of my resources over the years, including time. It's an experience lesson that I plan to share with you today. In this 21st century, knowledge and know-how are the keys to success. As basketball coach Pat Riley says, if you're not getting better, you are getting worse. Let me share a story. A little boy once wanted to learn to swim. His parents took him to the local swimming pool and enrolled him with an instructor. After a few weeks, he had learned the basics of swimming and could perform a few strokes, traveling a few feet before stopping. His parents cheered and clapped, but the boy thought that he could still do better. So he kept going to swimming classes, and after a few more weeks, he was able to swim across the little pool that he was learning in. His parents cheered and clapped. He kept training, and after a few months, he was able to swim an entire length of the main swimming pool. His parents cheered and clapped, but the boy thought that he could still do better. He kept training and was eventually able to turn and swim back the other way. After a few more months, he was able to complete a few laps of the pool in one effort. His parents cheered and clapped, but the boy thought that he could still do better. He started to enter swimming competitions and eventually won his first race. His parents cheered and clapped, but the boy thought he could still do better. He went to the ocean and swam from the beach to the pier a few hundred meters away. His parents cheered and clapped, but the boy thought he could still do better. He entered an ocean race that was a couple of kilometers in length and won that at the first attempt. His parents cheered and clapped, but the boy thought he could still do better. So he stood on the beach and looked over the ocean, out to the horizon beyond. He wondered what the limits were on what he could achieve and whether he had reached them yet. As he aspired to something greater and set about planning to achieve it. We are all that little boy. We all have some basic skills at something. Let's not stop there. Let's go from basic skills to competent, from competent to good, from good to great, from great to expert, from expert to world class. Look out to the horizon, dream big dreams, and find a way to be magnificent through lifelong learning. With that, let me start my presentation. I got about 12 minutes to do that, after which we'll have a small question and answer session. So here goes my presentation. I hope all of you are able to see this. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the key word is learn. And here's an English class for you. Learn is to acquire knowledge or skill and to become informed. And basically, what does that give you? It gives you lots of inputs. You could be anything in learning, right from sciences to technology, to arts, to music, to sports, to whatnot. Everything comes in that learning process. And that will give you that particular wisdom. Now, every day we learn. As a child, you learned. In school and college, you continue the learning process. As elders, we also learn, but we never stop. But what is important today is to learn how to learn. Learning is indeed a very valuable object. It's an absolute basic necessity like water. Where is the next one? Yes. To stay in shape, you need to learn exercising. learning that. It's symbolic here. To do anything, even not normal things, we need to learn. Going against the norm, we need to learn. To stay healthy, we need to learn. Or we may depend on pills. We need to be informed too. We need to acquire that knowledge. To get out of the box. Everyone says, right? We have to think out of the box. We need to get out of the box. You need to learn. When you become leaders, you need people to listen to. For that, we need to learn. That's precisely what I wanted to say here. So to work, to play, and to grow, we learn. And to learn again, we need to learn. We all have something in the morning, right? It could be coffee here that is shown. It could be tea. It could be milk, whatnot, or energy drink. And this morning, as you woke up, the world has already become much more knowledgeable. Straight now, 9 articles were created on Wikipedia alone. I'm telling about Wikipedia. 10 books were published. How many? See, just imagine, thousands and thousands of blogs were posted. We all learned from books. See, what did we learn in book? We learned to identify text and looking for meaning, but we didn't go beyond that. So although we never learned how to read beyond identifying text and looking for meaning, and then we went to school or classes. What did we learn in class? We just learned recognizing sounds, words, and sentences, but we didn't go beyond that. We didn't learn how to listen. We learned from life too. What did we do? We did not know how to reflect. We are only looking at life, looking back, remembering past mistakes and the experiences. We never learned how to reflect. But just imagine, if you learn how to read, how to listen, and how to reflect, that is where you learn how to learn. How much more will you learn? How much knowledge will you have? What will your new world look like if you could do this, if you could read, you could listen, and if you could reflect? Throughout our lives, we have been learning this. And what has happened is the learning that we take from the environment, from our teachers, from our friends, has only created patterns in our minds with which we do the behaviors that we do today. It's about time to take control over that learning. And that, in fact, converts into control over our lives. I'm not sure how many of you recognize this person, but this person gave a very, very pertinent statement many years back. He said, tomorrow's illiterate will not be the man who can't read. He will be the man who has not learned how to learn. He was Alvin Toffler, the author of Future Shock. Now, what is lifelong learning? We talked about learning. Let us now get into the real subject of lifelong learning. That is continuously going on step by step. Right from the time we were born as kids, even as we get out of our mother's womb, we come out crying and start looking around, crying out, feeling the senses and start learning. Go to school, go to colleges, and even beyond. So as we celebrate with more candles, our birthdays keep growing. We keep learning, and that is lifelong learning. I'll get into the definitions now. From Wikipedia again. It is only said that it's a concept. It's a concept that it is never late, never too late. Neither too soon nor too late to start learning. That means through the life cycle from birth to the grave, through different environments, in a formal or informal setting. Conceptually, hence, lifelong learning is very critical to understand. Learning never stops, right? So what one needs to do is one needs to be really flexible. Lifelong learning can be broadly defined as learning that is pursued through life, that is flexible, that is diverse, and that is available at different times and in different places. Lifelong learning crosses sectors, promoting learning beyond traditional schooling and throughout adult life. Hence, life, what is the conclusion that I can make from here? Life is development. Develop means growing, right? And growing means life. So just imagine the concept. It means that the education process has no end, because as we learn, we develop, and that is life. And life, within that period of life, that is where educational processes also go. Now, I told about the picture. I've given a picture of the brain here, right? Learning is education. Learning is natural and continuous process of the brain, actively or passively. So for the lifetime, the brain keeps on getting inputs. When the brain stops functioning, that is the time when learning or education stops. There are many things we need to know about how the learning happens, especially education from now to the future. And there are 4 pillars for that. The first pillar is learning to know. What does it mean? Learning to know means mastering learning tools rather than acquisition of structured knowledge. Just keep in mind what I said, that when we learn in school, we are not just going to read the text and understand the meaning of a text. We go beyond that. So in this learning to know, what we need to know is we need to master those learning tools. So learning to know. Next is learning to live together. So here it means we need to peacefully live together, discovering other people and their cultures, individual competence and capacity, and social inclusion. I'm telling about a plural society wherein everyone understands each other. Learning to do. That is equipping people for the types of work needed now and in the future, including what Dr. Harshvardhan Zala was telling about, innovation and adaptation of learning to future work environments. That is learning to do. And the next is learning to be. That is education contributing to a person's complete development, holistic, that Mind Academy stands for, where the development of the mind and body, intelligence, sensitivity, and spirituality comes into play. I'm indeed glad that we as a company, I got all my team members of Thea New Consultancy also here, who are tied up with Mind Academy for ensuring this passion of excellence to move forward. See, so these are the 4 pillars of education for the future: to know, to live, to do, and to be. So now how do we do it? If you see this, let us go from, I'll take the clockwise route now. You can go anywhere. See, we need to take risks. Risks are very important, especially when you want to be yourself. You just being a norm doesn't help anymore. You should be above a norm. You should challenge norms, and that helps us. So taking risk is one way. Thinking about what we learned is another way. Being self-motivated is the third way, because there what happens is we take responsibility. And we should know what to do, how to do, that is setting goals and plan. We are also looking for ways to connect and to make connections. Another important thing is asking questions. I'm glad that today many of the young students present here put forward questions to both Pooja ma'am as well as Dr. Zala. And I would also like to take questions, because this is a very challenging concept. Learning is continuous, right? So it is very important to be that inquisitive self. Ask questions, come out of yourself, ask questions. That is important. And one thing is to never give up. perseverance. You just heard the story of Dr. Salah, right? He never let go of his ambition. He wanted to do something for humanity. He persevered with his intention. And that's why he is successful even at this young age. Many of us are learning. We look upon to such idols to keep moving up in the moving in the right direction, as Mind Academy stands for. Yes. So life learning is supposed to be an ongoing process and not a static event. It's a control system. I am an instrument engineer, so I think everything in the form of a control system, right? We need to know something, we measure that, we take feedback, do corrections, and get back to the process. So here again, a lifelong learner should know, he should be self-aware, he should be self-managed, he should understand how to learn. The inputs, little inputs that I'm giving you will help you. But then keep learning, keep trying to understand what we are learning and do that self-monitoring. This cycle will help us go through that full process. Ultimately, here's a very interesting graph, because you know what needs to be taken. Like be it a student, today I'm including the students, the parents, the teachers, all of us in this group. Like we get so much data, we need so much of data. We don't know how much, what is to be taken, what not to be taken. So that is information, and that is based out of those questions: who, what, when, where. Those 4 W's is information. But it is important is how that question, the contextual understanding, becomes knowledge. And when we have an answer to why, that becomes wisdom. And that is the path of learning. So quickly, this is my last slide. I'm going to give you 10 benefits of lifelong learning. The first one is, it's all very self-explanatory. It develops our natural abilities. See, ultimately, we need to be the person that we are. We need to build up on what we are capable of. We need to learn and build on those capabilities. So it fully helps develop natural abilities. It opens up mind. Creates a curious questioning. I keep telling you, questions. It's not only hungry for food, but hungry for learning information, for more and more information. Increases the wisdom. And ultimately, we all live very well, coexist very peacefully with good knowledge, without without fighting for information. It makes the world a better place. Change is the only constant in life, it's said. And so learning helps us to adapt to change, helps find a meaning. Why do we want to live? In fact, somewhere I had a book, Man's Quest for Life, right? That's a great book. So it helps us find meaning in life. It also helps us contribute to the society. Ultimately, that is a satisfaction that humans get, right? We want to live for ourselves, our families. We want to build a cozy home, have the best of facilities, but ultimately the satisfaction comes when we give something back. Today, when Murli and Bala are doing Mind Academy and are celebrating the 2nd anniversary, it is precisely that particular motto in life, to give back to the society, that is driving them and driving us as well. Every day we meet people, and the more we meet new people, we make new friends. And that is, humans are social animals, and everything comes from learning. How to adapt to new people, new friends, new places. How do we travel? All those are covered. And finally, everything of this leads us to fulfillment. Now, I'll end with a story again on the process of learning. It's a personal story, and I'm sure most of you will connect to it. Of course, young students who are just born in this millennium, previous millennium, or people like me who's retired at 50, and today I'm 55, so we're running a business for around 3-4 years. I'm taking my story back to around 2008. Okay, that was the year when I landed from India to the Middle East. I was in Saudi Arabia. They're right there in Jubail. And my parents was back home. My family was in India. And we had a unique tradition at home that every day evening we speak to our parents. So I used to speak to my parents, and my children to my grandparents, to their grandparents. So it was a regular feature. And what used to happen was, see, once before leaving Kerala, that at that time my father was in Kerala, father, mother were in Kerala. So what happened was we set up a Skype call on their computers. My mother wanted to see us always. So when we landed in Saudi, they could just click a button and the call used to get connected. We reached Saudi and unfortunately something went wrong. That PC got formatted or whatnot, and ultimately the Skype could not load. So what was happening? What needed to be done? And in those days, there was no fast internet. They all were costly. Telephoning was costly. There were no good internet speeds. We had the dial-up connections, wherein you could just press the landline, and through this very low speed, 100 kbps of speed or something used to happen. And somehow we managed a connection. And my 14-year-old son connected to my father, and over the phone, struggling for 2 hours, the perseverance. I mean, you see a 14-year-old son who's good at technology, an aged 74-year-old, my father, who doesn't understand technology, but just goes following the instructions, set up a new Skype account and establish connection. The power of learning. I just wanted to say about that. And I'm sure such instances have happened across everyone's lives. We all understand. Some people want to learn, pass on that information and help. That's the 10 benefits that I said. In summary, this story, a little story from my life, will give us this kind of satisfaction. This is the presentation that I wanted to put across to you. Now I am open to questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shyam. So we are open for questions. Audience members, you can post your questions in the chat. Okay, the first one is from Anit P. Kumar, and he's asking, what is more comfortable, working for a company or running your own business?
No doubt running my own business. See, I'm not in any way telling that you should not work for a company. I did benefit from working for a company for 30 years. I was fully satisfied with my job, but the satisfaction that you get from running one's own business is way, way, way beyond anything here, because see, I am responsible, or my team is responsible. We're all responsible together, and together we grow. That is the primary reason that helps me give that satisfaction, and especially associating with like-minded companies like the Mind Academy and many other companies. We have got so many associates working with us, so many people who come together and with passion, zeal, all those. When you're working for a company, yes, it's individual driven or team driven, but it all depends on the goals that are not set maybe by you. You're working for goals from others. But ultimately, when you work for oneself, Anit, I can tell you so much that there's no greater satisfaction. There are struggles, but the satisfaction that one gets out of working for oneself is way, way. I'm living that dream. That's why I put that word, living a dream.
Thank you, sir. The next one we have from Samhita Srinivas. She's asking, we become lifelong learners, but how to enjoy learning?
Good question. Actually, see, as long as learning goes smoothly, one doesn't actually understand the true process of learning. Like what happens is, I'll again take my examples. In school, I don't know, probably the teachers were so good that I didn't face any challenges in learning. But when I went to college, the first, and probably I'm declaring it for the first time here, my family will be surprised. When I went to college, BITS Pilani, the first test that I wrote in BITS Pilani, I got a big 0. 0 marks out of 20. And that was the initiation to my college. And there I realized something is very serious. You know, the gap, we keep telling about gaps between college life and industry. There's a gap between school and college. And I realized that. And then you start becoming aware that there is something more that needs to be done. You need to catch up on it. You need to start learning. And what happens is, once you go into that pitfall and then you need to come up, and once you come up again and you start getting that successes, that learning, you will start enjoying it. As long as that particular point doesn't come. This is my personal experience. Everyone's experience can be different. But for me, learning is enjoyable when you're not there, and when you reach there and you get that satisfaction, that's the time you start enjoying learning. That process is really enjoyable. So just, I mean, I don't find anyone who has learned everything, who is uh, my mother used to call, in Malayalam there's a word, Sarvajna Bidam, na? Something like that. Manoj Nair can tell me. I'm not very good at that. Manoj is there. But that was the word she used to be. She used to use Sarvajna Bidam. I don't know what is in Hindi in that, but that is the kind of thing. So no one is that, unless he should be a sadhu or sadguru or all those people who have effusive knowledge. But when we are already lacking something and we are trying to get there, that process is enjoyment. That gap fulfilling is the enjoyment that I get.
Thank you, sir. Oh. Shall I move to the next question, sir? We have a question from Surendra Mahakalkar, and he's asking, what are the main challenges you faced once you started your own business?
Yeah, I can go on and on. Business is all about challenges, but overcoming those challenges are the ultimate satisfaction, as I said. But then the challenges, see, it's basically about first thing, setting up a business, and you need to have a. I started my business with my cousin and my my best friend in all ways, my man Friday, the person who supports me in my life, that is Mr. Ravi Kumar, who is there very much in this call. So when we have two people who think alike, who have a vision, and when we get together and when we come together, so what happens is now is everyone, as I said before, is not perfect. So two people with different experiences, but coming together for a common cause, covering each other with the weaknesses, helps build a great business. At least in our this thing. So now we have an office in Bahrain too. So all these processes, right from setting up a company, knowing the rules, getting the funding, like Dr. Harshvardhan Singh Sala said, setting up an export papers. There's every day, even today we learn. As I said, it's lifelong learning, right? Even today we found out that we need to export some sand out to a country in Africa. And when everything was ready, we found that is not allowed to be exported. It comes under, it is not allowed to be exported. It's in the block category. So how do we work around that? How do we ensure that we get an export done of that particular sand for use for sandblast? It can't be exported from India. So those are all learnings. Every step you learn, challenges are there. Setting up, funding, getting getting the technology that needs to be done for how to get the partnerships in place, how to get all those letters, all those agreements in place, anything. Accounting, I'm one of the worst persons in accounts. Ravi knows that. But then today, each passing day, we learn that we overcome those challenges. Yes, but the buck stops with us. It stops at me, it stops at Ravi. And so we know that any problem is not a problem, but a challenge that needs to be overcome. Looking at the goal, looking how to carry our team along, challenges are nothing before them. So there are challenges, but there are challenges, but they are not problems. That is what I would like to say.
Thank you, sir. So the last question I will say, it's from a person very dear to you, Shakir Hussain. He is asking, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
I think it was there in the introduction, right? Circumstances forced me to do that. But let me tell you, I can share my story again a little bit, not because of the circumstances that I'm going to say, but Murali Krishnan in his starting speech, he told about a person called Robert Kiyosaki, right? And I had the fortune, or I don't know whether they call it a fortune or misfortune, of reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad way back in 1998. That book brought a paradigm shift in my thinking. I was a happy employee working in a public sector plant in India. That book shook me. It told about two concepts. Children, you should know this very well. It's simple finance. People say about assets and liabilities, right? When we talk about assets and liability, and I saw Sadagopan Natarajan here somewhere. He's a finance man. You talk to a finance man, and I'm sure that, I'm not telling Sadagopan Natarajan doesn't do that. We'll do that. But you talk about assets and liability, you'll get a full lecture, but he simply said, what is an asset? Asset is anything that brings money into the table. What is a liability? Which takes out money. Assets and liabilities he defined like that. And then he told about how you work for oneself and become free about how to make money work for you. Simple financial terms, simple layman terms, he ensured what a business is. To make the money work for you. So I thought, okay, at the age of 50, if I'm still working, I mean, I'm not demeaning any of the people who are working now, but if I felt, and that is from his thoughts, if you're working at 50, you will continue to work till 70 or 80, because that's this thing. So yes, circumstances forced me. I had to come back to India. And then after working for around 8 years in the Middle East, it's difficult to come back and work like that professionally, what one is working in the Middle East, to come back and work in India. So that, and with my partner's help, we sat together. We were going through the same phases in life. He was also working for a very reputed company. He was the head of HR in the Tatas, in the Jindals, in the Reliance. And he was also looking for some meaning in life. And that was the time when we came together and decided to build a business. But Sakir Bhai, you know that we are now partners. He is a partner of mine in CNU Consultancy, Bahrain. So there are reasons for everyone to be in business. There are reasons for everyone to be in work. So everyone's reason is personal. But if you have a common goal and we need to work together, things will work for you. Take it from me. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was indeed a very inspiring session. I'm sure all of us are going to be learners for life thanks to your session. There's few more questions. I think since we are short of time, we'll send it to you personally, sir. So we'll have it answered for the audience.
With pleasure.
Thank you.
Shyam, before we close, I have a question for you. Shyam?
Yeah, Dr. Ajit, I can hear him. Yeah. Can
you hear me?
Yes. Absolutely.
Sorry.
With permission from the the coordinators, I would like to ask Shyam a question, and the question goes like this. See, in a busy life, this is a great concept which we are practicing in our organization also. But then, considering the kind of this lifelong learning, Shyam, don't you think it happens only when you are an entrepreneur, or when I joined you in your entrepreneurship program, before that, the mind was never that open for, learning. Many things I could learn after, becoming an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur or as an employee or as an engineer, there were limitations in the daily routine. You have to get up at such a time, pick up the cab or drive yourself to the place of work, then come back. Then it becomes a routine. So you ignore whatever be the learning points that come your way. So what the question to Shyam is, after this wonderful talk, is it necessary to be an entrepreneur to be a lifelong learner? My experience says that the answer is yes, because as an employee or as an entrepreneur in a company heading various departments and even an MD of a company for a few years, I mean, when you are employed, some boss is on top of you and you are answerable to some boss, then I feel that you are within bars. That is, your learning, lifelong learning becomes what the boss dictates to you. What do you say?
One thing I can say is I must thank you that you have found some inspiration to open up your mind and started learning after you became associated with us, which gives us, which puts us in good light. Thank you so much. But again, what I would like to say is it all depends on person to person. I'm sure everyone in this room here is a lifelong learner. Each day, today listening to me, or today when I listen to Harshvardhan or Pooja ma'am and the motivational words by Murli and Bala, I'm learning, I'm catching up points, and that's all learning. It doesn't mean it's not only technical learning. If you're growing as a man, you're learning, right? Every input that we take, then it's only a matter of filtering the process and taking what is to be taken in. But whatever we take into our brain, that is learning. So technically, yes, maybe sometimes it depends. It depends on the circumstances. You may not be getting a proper, leadership or the force behind you to learn. But ultimately what happens is when you switch jobs, you find, if you're not satisfied, you move on. You want to learn. And that's why you're here. You want to give back to society. That's why you are in this world. So if you're not satisfied where you are, you move on, right? So that's all you. It's your decision. It's everyone's decision. And today I can tell you proudly that Dr. Ajit is coming up with a product that is going to change the way queuing theory is going to work in hospitals, clinics, vaccination centers, or whatnot. It's his product that is coming up shortly, and we could utilize its full potential. But yes, probably Ajit, I'll speak to you separately on this, and I'll ensure that you will say that even being an employee, you can start learning, not necessarily being an entrepreneur. In any phase in life, you could still learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shyam. Thank you for your time and patience for answering all the queries and for the wonderful workshop. Thank you so much, sir.